The everyman is on his knees, pressing his hands together hard, visibly straining. Above him looms a towering, dark, frowning figure, a distorted image of God as a harsh judge. A small, dark whisper bubble drifts down toward him. Not enough. He prays harder, squeezes his eyes tighter, strains more, and the dark figure only grows bigger. Here is the thing nobody told you. The problem was never that you do not pray enough. The problem is that you have been praying to a God who does not exist. You inherited a picture, and that picture has been running your spiritual life ever since. In this video, we are going to diagnose that distorted image. Then we are going to replace it with who God actually revealed himself to be. And by the end, you will have a new lens to see him through. Stay with me. This one could change everything. Most of us never chose our image of God. It was handed to us by our fathers, our churches, our pain. Think about the first authority figure in your life. Were they warm and present, or distant and hard to please? Were they someone you ran to, or someone you tried not to disappoint? Because here is what happens inside a child's mind. Whatever that first authority felt like, that becomes the template. Not on purpose, not through bad theology, just wiring. Deep, early, powerful wiring. And that wiring shapes every prayer you ever pray. Every time you think God is silent, you hear the cold Father. Every time you fail morally, you see the disappointed face. Every time you need grace, you feel the need to perform first. And it is not just absent or harsh fathers. Legalistic religion hands you this image too. Some churches only ever preach what you are doing wrong. They talk about grace, but shame is the air you breathe. You had to earn your seat at the table. You learn that God's love is conditional. You learn to approach him only when you feel worthy, which means you rarely approach him at all, because the meter is almost never full enough. So let me ask you something directly. When you close your eyes to pray right now, what do you see? A warm father running toward you? Or a judge waiting for your case to be presented? Be honest, because your answer reveals the lens you are looking through. And that lens is controlling more than you realize. Here is the pattern interrupt. What if you have been faithful, just to a wrong picture? What if the exhaustion you feel is not spiritual failure, but the natural result of striving toward a God who cannot be pleased? Because a harsh God will drain you. A distant God will leave you lonely. A transactional God will make you a performer, not a son. And none of those are the God of the Bible. So who is the God of the Bible? Let us go to the great self-proclamation of his name, the fullest description of his own character. Moses had just shattered the 10 Commandments. The people had worshipped a golden calf, a catastrophic failure. And Moses made one audacious request. Show me your glory. And God said yes. In Exodus 34 verse 6, God proclaimed his own name, his own character. The Lord, a God merciful and gracious, at slow to anger and abounding in steadfast love and faithfulness. This is not a judge announcing a sentence. This is a father announcing his heart. And notice, he said this after Israel's worst failure. Not before. After. His mercy is not contingent on your performance. Now go to Psalm 103, David writing from his own mess. Verse 8. The Lord is merciful and gracious, slow to anger and abounding in steadfast love. He is echoing Exodus 34. This is not a coincidence. Then David says something that should stop you cold. Verse 13. As a father shows compassion to his children, so the Lord shows compassion to those who fear him. God chose that image. The compassionate father. Not the distant one, not the disappointed one. The compassionate one. And verse 14 tells you why he is not shocked by your weakness. For he knows our frame. He remembers that we are dust. He is not surprised by your failing. He made you. He knows. But here is where the picture becomes clearest. If you want to know what God looks like, look at Jesus. Not as a concept, as a revelation. John 14:9. Jesus looked at Philip and said something extraordinary. Whoever has seen me has seen the Father. Not whoever has read about the Father, seen me. Every time Jesus touched a leper, that is the Father touching you. Every time he stopped for the one the crowd ignored, that is the Father stopping for you. Every time he said, "Your sins are forgiven," before they asked, that is the Father's posture. And Hebrews 1:3 locks it in. Jesus is the exact imprint of his nature, the very nature of God. Not a rough sketch, not an approximation, the exact imprint. So every distorted image you have ever carried can now be measured against this one clear standard. Does it look like Jesus? Then it is true. Does it not? Then it is not God. So how do you actually change the picture? Paul gives us the mechanism in Romans 12:2. Be transformed by the renewal of your mind. Renewing, present tense, ongoing, not a one-time event. The distorted image did not form overnight. It will not dissolve overnight either. But here is the invitation, and this is the midpoint of the video. If something in this video is already shifting something in you, drop the words, "I am changing the picture," in the comments right now, because naming it makes it real, and you are not alone in this. Now, the second key passage, 2 Corinthians 3:18. We all, with unveiled face, beholding the glory of the Lord, are being transformed into the same image from one degree of glory to another. The word beholding is the key. You become what you behold. If you behold a harsh judge, you will live in fear and performance. But behold the compassionate Father that Jesus revealed, and something shifts. You will begin to live from love, not toward it. This is not self-help. This is beholding. It happens in the Word, in prayer, in honest conversation with Him. You bring the cracked picture to Jesus and say, "Is this you?" And He shows you the real one, again and again. So here is where we land. The everyman at the beginning was not praying too little. He was praying to a picture he had inherited, not the God who proclaimed himself in Exodus 34, not the Father of Psalm 103 who shows compassion like a father to his child, not the God that Jesus, the exact imprint, revealed with his every touch and word. The picture was the problem, and the picture can be healed. You do not need more willpower. You need a truer vision of who He is. Start there. Behold Him. Let the image renew. And if you are ready to start changing the picture, leave "I am changing the picture" below and mean it. Next time, we are going to talk about what it actually looks like to trust this God, even when the circumstances are still dark and the silence feels real. That one is going to be important. Do not miss it.